Hello, Cherie Hansen here. I was reading Fear, Essential Wisdom for Getting Through the Storm by Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist author. And it was so beautiful, I wanted to share it with you. It's very good in mindfulness practice to consider where thoughts come from. And this one is called Original Fear. Many of us often find ourselves thinking of things that stir up feelings of fear and sorrow. We have all experienced some suffering in our past and often recall our past suffering. We revisit the past, reviewing it and watching the films of the past. But if we revisit these memories without mindfulness or awareness, every time we watch these images, we suffer again. Suppose you were abused as a young child. You suffered greatly. You were fragile and vulnerable. You were likely afraid all of the time. You didn't know how to protect yourself. Perhaps in your mind, you continue to be abused again and again, even though you are an adult now. You no longer are that child who is fragile and vulnerable with no means of defense. Yet you continue to experiencing the suffering of the child because you always revisit those memories, even though they are painful. There is a film, an image stored in your consciousness every time your mind goes back to the past. You look at that image or watch that film, you will suffer again. Mindfulness reminds us that it is possible to be in the here and the now. It reminds us that the present moment is always available to us. We don't have to live events that happened long ago. Suppose someone slapped your face 20 years ago. That was recorded as an image in your subconscious. Your subconscious stores many films and images of the past, which are always being projected down there. And you have a tendency to go back and watch them again and again, so you continue to suffer. Every time you see that picture, you are slapped again and again and again. But that is only the past. You are no longer in the past. You are in the present moment. That did happen, yes, in the past. But the past is already gone. Now the only things left are pictures and memories. If you keep going back to the past to review those images, that is wrong mindfulness. But if we root ourselves in the present moment, we can look at the past in a different way and transform that suffering. Perhaps when you were a little child, people would sometimes take your toy away from you. You learned to cry, to try to manipulate the situation, or to smile so as to please your caretaker, to make her give back the toy. As a young child, you learn to produce a diplomatic smile. That's one way of dealing with the problem of survival. You learn without even knowing that you are learning. The feeling that you're fragile, vulnerable, unable to defend yourself, the feeling that you are always need someone to be with you is always there. That original fear and its other face, original desire, is always there. The infant with his fear and his desire is always alive in us. Some of us have depression and continue to suffer, even if in the present situation everything looks all right. This is because we have a tendency to dwell in the past. We feel more comfortable making our home there, even if it holds a lot of suffering. That home is deep down in our subconscious, where the films of the past are always projected. Every night you go back and you watch those films and suffer. And the future you constantly worry about is nothing other than a projection of fear and desire from the past. And what the monk is teaching us is he is teaching us to be aware of when we are replaying our negative movie from the past. If you're aware of it, if you understand it, you can now bring your mind into the present. And when you are in the present, you are calmer. So I wanted to share that with you because I thought it was just such a good reminder. Lots of people are being triggered right now. They're being triggered because what they're doing is they're letting the anxiety force them back into the past when they were children, when they were defenseless, when they didn't have the ability to control their own minds. But this is something that helps you when you can stay in the present, stay an adult, use breath, and then you just don't freak out. So that's from Thich Nhat Hanh. If you can get a hold of this book, Fear, Essential Wisdom for Getting Through the Storm, it's short, it's pithy, and it has great exercises in it. I highly recommend it. Thank you.